Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's presentation on camera analytics that will save you time, money, and headaches. My name's Daniel. I'm with Security Alarm, and I'm going to be demonstrating a few products and features today that I think will really help you guys out. We're going to be covering three topics. The first is going to be what we call enhanced searching of your cameras. And the second thing we're going to cover is our license plate recognition camera. And the third thing that we'll be covering is what we call our AccuSense camera. It's a camera that has the ability of intelligently determining whether motion is human or whether it's vehicle. All of these features that we're going to be covering today are going to help you guys save a lot of time and energy that you spend searching for video. They're going to help you quickly get to those events, the events that you don't know exactly when they occurred. They're going to help you find those. All of the events that we're going to be talking about today, you can be alerted when those events happen. So whether it's motion, whether it's line crossing of a human or a vehicle, whether it's a license plate recognition event, we can do notifications so that you guys get a push notification or an email sent to you when these events occur. I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to be using our software to demonstrate some of these features. And if you have questions after this webinar, feel free to give us a call, send us an email, check us out on our website. So I'll go ahead and dive in. I'm going to get my screen pulled up here so you guys can see it. And here we go. So within the software, the first thing, like I said, that I'll be covering is the enhanced searching. This is a feature actually that a lot of you guys might be able to take advantage of currently. You might have equipment that has this capability and maybe you're just not taking advantage of it. Maybe you're not aware that it can do that. And the tab that I'm going to go to in my software is called Remote Playback. So this is just where we would typically go to play back our video. I'm going to use a camera at a restaurant here in Salem. My wife and I own a small restaurant in Salem, and we have a storage building. There's not a lot of activity that happens in that storage building. And so if we want to review video, we don't want to have to scrub through hours of video to see when people were in and out of that building. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. I've got my time parameters set up here. It was for April 22nd from 4 p.m. until midnight. Then I'll go down here to the cooler building camera and I'll hit play. So it pulls up playback of that camera starting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You'll notice the camera is black and white. There's no lighting in that building right now, so it is in the black and white mode. And you can see that we have a blue timeline indicated down here, which is showing we've got video from 4 o'clock to midnight. Now, if I wanted to see what occurred within that time frame, I would have to either play that video through at maybe 4 or 8 times the speed, or I can go over to this light bulb in the right-hand corner of my screen and click that and hit Enable Motion Detection. I can draw a grid on my screen. What that's going to do, that's going to search through that time frame. So from 4 to midnight, and it's going to say, here were the events that occurred within that time frame based on motion. I can either click here on my timeline on these timestamps and get to those videos. So if I click the first one, it's going to jump to that time frame. Or if you don't want to click on those, you can also just drag your timeline. So if I want to drag it here to 5:06, it looks like there was an event that happened, someone going into the cooler to grab some inventory. I can pause the video there, I can play it, I can jump to my next clip. But you can see now on my blue timeline, I've got these tick marks that are indicating when motion happened. This is a huge time saver. It's not, you are going to pick up motion events that maybe weren't people. Lighting changes can create a motion event. If it's an outdoor camera, sometimes motion detection is hard to deal with because you're dealing with so many things in the environment: leaves, wind, snow and fog. Those things can cause motion events on cameras. But this is a very good way to help narrow down events that occur. And again, if you want to be notified when some of these motion events happen or occur, you can do that. The next thing that I'm going to jump into is going to be our license plate camera. And I'm going to jump to a different module. I'm going to jump to this data retrieval module within the software. I'm going to go down here to vehicle retrieval. And I'm going to put in my time parameters. So for this example, I'm going to use March 26th, starting at midnight and ending at midnight. So a 24-hour time period. This camera is located on a road that does not get a ton of traffic. Customer would like to kind of monitor, what traffic comes and goes on this particular road. So I'll go ahead and hit OK on the time. I'm going to select the camera I would like to search. You see I have a license plate spot here. I'm going to leave that blank for now, and I'm going to hit search. What we're going to get is we're going to get the results that camera has seen for that entire 24-hour window. So every license tag that it has picked up on, it's going to pull up in little thumbnail pictures. Once it's pulled those up, we can kind of scan through and see, okay, what activity occurred during that time. So you can quickly see I can scan through these events. If I want to click on one, I can pull one up here. So here's a tag. Looks like it got just a partial reading maybe on this tag. So if I want to, I can select another one. Here's one, 27 SEC. This is actually one of our service vehicles. But what sets this camera apart is the fact that it intelligently read the license tag. So for years, there's been license tag cameras. They've just given you, the customer, the ability to use or read that tag. You would have to play back through the video and say, oh, here comes a car. Okay, there's the tag, and you write it down. Now, with these digital license plate cameras, the camera is intelligently interpreting what the tag says. Is it going to be 100% accurate? No, not all the time. It might interpret something a little differently. But for this example here, it did pick up 27 SEC, which I believe is the actual full license tag on that vehicle. Now what we can do, now that we have a tag, we can broaden our search. So what you could do, you could go up to your date, extend it, right? Don't just do a day, do a month at a time. Put in a month, filter it down by the tag. So if we wanted to search SEC and hit search, now we're only going to get results for the tag SEC. So it looks like on that particular day, I got 3 hits of tags that had SEC. It looks like each of them actually had the full tag, the 27 SEC. So those 3, it read successfully the entire tag. This is going to narrow down your search time immensely. If you have a vehicle that you know is a suspicious vehicle and you want to just throw in that tag and you can see when that vehicle has come and went. There's a lot of applications for law enforcement to use these cameras. If they have a tag that they want to know when that tag pops up on a certain camera, they can do that. They can get alerted when 27 SEC drives through that camera. Some people might use this application to monitor a gated community. They want to know if certain tags come into that community. Schools, there's a lot of application for schools with this tag. If you know that a certain license tag should never be on that school property, and you had one of these cameras monitoring your entrance, and you get a notification when that tag comes onto your property. So lots of applications, and I think we will see these cameras used more and more as people find the features that they can do. They're very feature rich, and you guys can use them in a lot of different ways. And we want to be here to help you guys figure out, how can I use this camera to, run my business better, my organization better. And that's where we come into play with helping you apply the technology to meet a need that you guys might have. The third feature of cameras, or the third technology that I want to cover today, is the one that I'm the most excited about. It's we refer to the technology as AccuSense, and these cameras are cameras that can pick up and distinguish certain types of motion. So if we kind of go back to our first example where I was searching by motion, I'd mentioned that in outdoor conditions, motion can sometimes be frustrating because you get so much of it from outside sources: wind, moving leaves, fog, rain, snow, even animals, that are triggering some of those events. Well, there's a new line of cameras that are called AccuSense cameras, and I'm going to demonstrate one of those for you here. I'm going to change the tab that I'm on to behavior analysis. I'm going to open up the calendar. I'm going to search an entire weekend. So I'm going to go from the 18th to the 19th, and I'm going to hit OK. This particular camera is on our loading dock at our office. We've had it up for several months, and we're extremely excited about the results that we've gotten from this camera. And they're really starting to pick up. People have a lot of interest in them. I think you guys will find these very, very useful. So I've put in the time parameters. I've put in the back dock. For my event type, I'm going to go ahead and select all, and I'm going to hit search. What the results that you guys are going to see here are based on some predefined events that we have set in the camera. So we have two events set up on this particular camera. We have an event that's being triggered anytime a vehicle crosses an imaginary line. And we have an event set up, a line set up, so if a human crosses that line, it will trigger an event. So the first one I'll demonstrate is the vehicle. And it looks like over the weekend, we had this many results. So basically, I searched an entire weekend, and these were the results that came up from vehicle and human activity over the entire weekend. So if I click on the first one, looks like it picked up a truck and a trailer. It looks like people coming to mow the lawn at our office. I can hit playback here. We can actually watch the clip. So if you see that blue line, as the vehicle crosses that blue line, it turns red. And that's just indicating, the trigger was activated by that vehicle. You're just going to play the short clip here. If you wanted to get to the full clip or the full playback, you would need to go to remote playback, and you could, watch that entire time segment. But this helps you quickly get to that and find that information. So that was a vehicle. That was an example of a vehicle crossing that line. I think we've got one down here, yeah, of a human crossing a line that I have set up. So I'll pause the vehicle right here. Or I'll pause the video here. We've got a line stretched across our loading dock. I have this line configured to where when a human crosses that line, it triggers an event. Now, not only is it when a human crosses that line, it's actually directional sensitive. So it's only when a human crosses the line moving this way towards the camera. Now, what's that do for us? That eliminates half of the alarms or notifications that you would receive. I might have double the amount of pictures if I had my line set up for crossing either direction. Now I've just eliminated half of them by having a single direction set on that line crossing. So it's just another way that it narrows down the amount of events that you have to search through. So I'll go ahead and play the event here. You can see he walks up the steps, and when he crosses that line, boom, turns red, triggers the event. That feature right there is a massive, massive time saver. I don't know how many times I've helped law enforcement or different customers search for video that occurred and they don't know exactly when it occurred. You can spend a lot of time searching for that video. These features that we've covered today will shave that to a fraction of the amount of time that you spend. Places that have inventory outside are going to benefit from this greatly. I think of implement dealers, car dealerships, scrap yards, electric co-ops. In any place that has a lot of inventory in a yard outside, these are going to help. Maybe you just want to monitor the traffic. You could put one of these at the main entrance to your business. And as people come through that door, if you have that line set up, you're going to be able to quickly search and see a thumbnail of each person that entered the place of business or organization. Maybe you want it to be when they're leaving. You can configure the line that way. You can have it set to where it's both directions. So you're getting a picture every time someone comes in and leaves. The applications are endless. We're excited about these cameras and think you guys can really benefit from them. If you have questions, make sure to give us a call here at our office. Check us out on our website. And I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this today. And I know we're kind of in some uncharted territory, but hope you guys benefit from it. I'm excited about it and hope you guys have a great day and stay safe out there. Take care.